Well, you can improve any relationship just by talking and listening, of course. Communication expert Jocelyn Herman-Saccio is here. She's going to share some of the things that couples can do to achieve intimacy. Welcome, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're not just talking about what happens in the bedroom. We're talking about going through your daily life and just becoming closer to the person you're married to.
Yeah, which is really intimacy, you know, and then what that leads to, I'll leave to the people, right? But everybody wants to have a relationship like they see in the movies, you know, that kind of soulmate meets soulmate, sharing their deepest dreams, being adored. But somehow after the newness of a relationship wears off, we fall into familiar patterns, and before you know it, you're sitting across the breakfast table with somebody that you know every inch of and every reaction. And the good news is you don't have to be limited to that, because it's your relationship and it's your movie, and you can be the director and the writer and the star, and you can create something completely new. So I have 3 keys to creating intimacy in any relationship, whether you've been married for 20 years or you're newlyweds. So the first one is to be willing to be surprised.
And what do you mean by that?
You know, it seems obvious, like, oh yeah, I'm willing to be surprised. But it's not that easy to set aside what we already know about our spouse, or what we know that they're going to say, or how they're going to react to something. So recently I had somebody tell me that they used this technique, and she had lost a lot of weight. And what do women do when they lose a lot of weight?
We go shopping.
That's what I'm saying. And she went really shopping, like overdid it. And then she was terrified to talk to her husband about how much she spent. So she knew he was going to be upset, and then that triggered for her defensiveness and justifying and guilt. So what she did was she used this technique about being willing to be surprised, and she set all that aside. And she went into the conversation without that defensiveness, without the justification. She just told him.
She was honest.
She was honest, but without the added drama that sometimes we add to communications. And he just reacted like, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to pay that off. And there was an intimacy and a partnership, like they were in it together. So that's being willing to be surprised.
You have to be open to looking at things in a new way.
Yeah.
Okay, and number 2, throw away the script. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, when you've been in a relationship for a while, it's easy to fall into patterns of communication, and sometimes it's like, I love you too, like, it's 70 degrees and sunny, I love you, you know, take out the garbage, and it's just all automatic, and we don't give much thought to it. So I know for myself, I've been with my husband almost 20 years, and yesterday, you know, we have 3 children, we have a lot to accomplish, and I was coming here to do this, and he said, okay, well, I'll work on the credit card bill breakdown for the taxes, I'll get it done by Sunday, and I'll take the kids, you know, where they need to go.
It's all business.
It's like getting stuff done, right? So automatically, I would be like, okay, great, thanks. But then I stopped myself, and I threw away that script, which is automatically there, and I said, you know what? I really want to thank you for how much you support me in everything that I do. And I know I'm never on my own, and that I can really count on you to do whatever it takes to make sure that our family is taken care of. And in that moment, there was so much intimacy present, you know, because just acknowledgement and appreciation, which we rarely do in that automatic script, creates a space of intimacy.
It's what everybody wants, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
it
what we're
really
all
is.
looking for in our relationships. Number 3, risk something.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to kind of put yourself out there.
Yeah, and I think as human beings, we are afraid to look like we don't know what we're doing. I mean, we have to have it together, and we have to, you know, look good. And one of the programs I was leading for Landmark recently had a young man who was engaged to be married, and he was terrified, but he wasn't letting anybody know. And he was really afraid of like what was going to come and how could he be a good provider. So he took this tip, and he went into a conversation with his fiance, and he told her, he said, you know, I love you so much, but I'm really scared. I'm scared about this wedding. I'm scared about what's going to come afterwards, about having a family. And because he was willing to be that authentic and sort of let go of that desire to look good and have it together, she was able to open up and share her fears. She was terrified, and she was like, I'm pretending I know what I'm doing about this wedding. I'm all organized. I don't know what I'm doing. And they just got even closer in that moment through being willing to be so authentic.
And probably took some of that fear away. Jocelyn, thank you so much. For more relationship tips, just go to our website. It's kcal9.com. You can click Seen on TV. We've got all the information.